Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to be making these little angel ornaments. Super cute. Let's get started. So I'm going to be using a 4mm, and the yarn I'm using is a baby fine, but it does have a sparkle to it. Might be hard to see. Hard to see because I got a white background. But it is a baby fine yarn. I'm using a 4mm because that's what the yarn calls for. So whatever you're using, just use what it calls for. So, oh, the sparkly stuff on it is this. It's called Roll With It Sparkle. So that's the sparkle in here and in here. Now generally I separate the colors. I have a winder and I usually separate the colors, but I haven't gotten to separating this roll yet, so I'll just have to take whatever color it gives me from the center. So let's start with a magic ring. We're making the dress first. So the bottom of this dress is going to be my rendition. Sorry, the bottom of this dress is going to be my rendition of the pop stitch. So I don't know if you know that stitch or not, but so we're going to do 9 double crochets into this magic ring. So that's my 9 double crochets. I'm only going to be working with 8 of them. The other one's going to be for slip stitching. So slip stitch into your first chain and chain 2. So I made this as beginner friendly as I possibly can. So there's no way anybody can mess this up. You're going to put a double crochet in that same space that you just did your chain 2. This just cuts down on the seam. And in each stitch around, you're going to put 2 double crochets in each stitch. And that's 16. You can go over to the top of this chain, slip stitch, and chain 2. So your next round is going to be 2 double crochets in each stitch around. So you should have a total of 32 when you're done this round. Oh, sorry, I forgot. Put your double crochet in that chain 2 space. Then you can do 2 in each stitch. So once you're back around, you can slip stitch to the top of that first chain and fasten off. We are changing colors. But first, let's take care of our stragglers. So, when we are done this, we're just going to be done it. We don't have to tuck a bunch of crap in at the end. Might as well just tuck it in now before everything gets in the way. Not that we're doing a whole lot of stuff to get in the way or anything, but I like to take this and go into the stitch next to it and pull it through first. And then I like to weave. So that's where this stuff comes in. I'm going to try to find... Oh gosh, that's going to be a train wreck. Oh, both sides are going to be train wrecks. That's fabulous. That's great. So I unwound my crazy mess and I ended up with this color. So it's kind of a purplish sort of color. So make a slip knot. We're going to reattach, same place with that we unattached, or same place we fastened off. So start with a single crochet to reattach with. But then I want you to put a double crochet in that same space. So we are going to be doing my rendition of the pop stitch. So I just basically made the pop stitch smaller. So the pop stitch is generally you would double crochet 5 in the same space and then do what you're going to do, but we're going to double crochet 3 in the same space. So just keep in mind you are going to learn a pattern stitch, but you're going to learn the smaller size of the pattern stitch. So to start, I'm going to skip that. I'm going to go into this one. So go into this stitch and put 3 double crochets. Oh, starting off great. That's 3 double crochets. Now normally a pop stitch would be 5. So now you're going to pull up on that loop because you're going to leave it for a second. You're going to go into the first stitch that you made. So I've got 3 stitches. That's my third stitch, 2 and 1. So go into the first stitch that you made. Grab this loop. Don't pull tight or anything. And then make a stitch. Oh, I got snagged. Make a stitch and chain 1. So because I'm going to skip 1 in between, I'm going to chain 2. That chain 1 secures the pop stitch. The other chain 1 gives me the space I need to skip this stitch. So skip the next stitch, go into the one after that, and put 3 double crochets. Pull up on your loop, go into the first stitch you made, grab that loop. Now from behind, you're going to yarn over and you're going to come, you're going to pull up, come through those 2 loops. That's what it looks like behind. Chain 2. And this is what we're going to do all the way around. So 3 double crochets. Pull up on the loop, go into your first stitch. So once you get used to it, it's not as bad as it seems. Pull through, chain 2. So that's only 3. Like I said, the pop stitch is generally 5. So I'm back around to the end. I put 2 in there at the beginning. I'm going to skip this next stitch. And I'm going to go in there and I'm going to put 1. And then I'm going to slip stitch to the top of one of them stitches. So it's not a pop stitch, but it looks like it. So fasten off. You don't need a sewing tail or anything, just enough to weave your end in. So it's okay that it's curling up like that. So you should come back around. You should have 2 because you did your slip knot. So go through one of these stitches, doesn't matter what side. Just for added security, I like to tie these 2 together and then just cut it off. It's way better than weaving, so don't do a tight first knot, but do a tight second knot. And then you can just snip that off because we're going to be folding that part down anyway. So to make the coat, you're going to fold this part back. And then you're going to fold that side in and that side in. So when we start sewing everything together, you'll be able to, you can just take a piece while we're sewing the wings on. So when we sew the wings on, you can just take a piece and kind of loop through and sew it then. But I'll show you again when we go to put it all together. So that is the little jacket. So or the dress jacket, whatever you want to call it. So the wings are just about the same thing, but we do a lot of crowding. So make a slip knot or magic ring and put 9 double crochets into the center. Sometimes I get snagged on the sparkly stuff in this. So because I did 9, I'm going to use one of these stitches to slip stitch to, leaving me 8 to work with. Chain 2, put a double crochet into that chain 2 space, and you're going to do 2 double crochets in each stitch around. You should end up with 16 stitches. Go to the top of that first chain and do your slip stitch. Chain 2, put a double crochet into that chain 2 space. And repeat. So exact same thing that we did with coat, but we're going to do this for 2 more rows. So for the coat we had 2 rows of just the double, 2 in each space. This one we're doing 3. So I'm back around. I'm just going to slip stitch to the top of that first chain. I'm going to chain 2. I'm going to put my 1 double crochet. Then I'm going to do it again. 2 double crochets, this is the last row. 2 double crochets in each stitch around. So you're going to notice that it's going to get all wavy and it's crowded. And that's what we want. We want it to get wavy and out of shape, because I'm trying to create a half moon shape, and that is what is going to give us our wings that swoop up like this. So I got to make it busy. So if at any point you screw up and you drop a stitch or you add a stitch, or this is completely beginner friendly, it does not matter. It's not going to make a difference at all to anything that you make, including the head. So if you have an extra stitch or you've got 2 extra stitches, then don't worry about it. It will not be noticeable once you put everything together. So I'm back around. I'm going to slip stitch to the top of that first chain, and I am going to fasten off, because I'm going to put my other color in there, on there. So let's tuck away these guys before we add our color. So this is getting folded in half. So I don't know how serious you want to be about weaving, but so it's supposed to be all wavy and stuff like this, and we're going to actually make it worse. So if yours looks like this, you're on the right track. So grab your color, make a slip knot. Oh, I've lost my, where did I, there. So reattach where you fastened it off. Then my single crochet. We are doing scallops for this one. We're not doing the pop stitch. We only did the pop stitch for the dress, so this one's just going to be scallops. So after you attach with your single crochet, put a double crochet in that same space. So our scallops, because we've got 2 now in here, we're going to skip 1. We're going to put 1 single crochet. This is just to start. This is not your repeat. This is your repeat. This next stitch, you're going to put 3 double crochets. You're going to skip 1 and you're going to put a single crochet. That's your repeat. So start again. 3 double crochets. Skip 1. Next stitch gets a single crochet. And again. 3 double crochets. Skip 1, single crochet. So that's what you get, a scalloped edge. So that's your repeat all the way around. 3 double crochets, skip 1, 1 single crochet. So I'm back around to the other side, and just like the dress, I've got my skip a space, my one single crochet can go into that spot, and I'm just gonna slip stitch there. This will not be noticeable. So fasten off. You don't need a sewing tail. We're going to use the white to sew with. The white will sew the wings to the back and then the head on. So we're just going to take a piece of white. So you just need enough to weave. Again, you've got your little extra tie. You can just tie a knot and be done with it. So I'm just going to kind of scooch down to it. Don't tie a tight first knot, but a tight second knot. Because you don't want to see it, even though it's going to be folded in half and you probably won't see it. You definitely don't want to see it. So fold it in half. And that's because we made it all wonky. This is how we've gotten this shape. I guess it's hard to see when it's laying on. Yes, you can see your own, but it should be like that. So half moon, crescent shape, I don't know how you say it, but that's how it should be. That's how I wanted the wings. That's why we made it all wonky and stuff. So this goes like this. So all we have left is the head. We're done with our color. So make a magic ring. This is a pretty quick head. It is so tiny. It is so tiny, matter of fact, I just used a cotton ball actually to stuff the head there. So you're going to put 6 single crochets in the ring. Pull it shut. Get a stitch marker out. You need to do 2 single crochets in each stitch. Now I'm not going to use my stitch marker here. I'm just going to count to 12. Put 2 single crochets in each stitch. I know it's tiny, but I'm used to working with worsted weight yarn, so this is a little bit of a struggle. So that's 2 in each stitch. Your next round is going to be 1 single crochet and an increase. So this is where I'm going to use my marker, so it's 1 single crochet. And then your next stitch gets an increase of 2 single crochets in the same space. And repeat. 1 single crochet, 2 single crochets, 1 single crochet, 2 single crochets. So for the next 3 rounds, so you should have 18 stitches for the next 3 rows. You're just going to put 1 single crochet in each of those 18 stitches. So I've got my 3 rows done. So your next round is going to be 1 single crochet and a decrease. It's 1 single crochet. So this brings you back down to 12 stitches. Let's cut some of this middle off. Tuck that guy in there. So that's my 1 single crochet and then my decrease. So 1 single crochet. Using these 2 stitches for decrease, you're going to go in the first stitch and yarn over. Go into the next stitch and yarn over. That gives you 3 loops and you're going to pull through all 3 loops. And repeat. 1 single crochet, decrease. So your last round is just going to be 6 decreases. So like I said, I literally used a cotton ball to stuff the head because it's that small. So stuff your head with whatever you have. Got cotton balls laying around. That'll do the trick. So we're going to decrease 6 times because we have 12 stitches. So that's generally the way I like to do things. That's 6. Go into your next stitch. You're going to slip stitch and fasten off with a sewing tail. So a sewing tail to sew the head to the dress and wings, and to sew shut and weave. So you don't need as much as it sounds like you need. So you're going to pick up only 1 piece. So there's the whole stitch right there, but you're only going to pick up the front. In and out. In and out. One more time. In and kind of out, because there's not really a stitch there. It's where we fastened off. But you can shove a little bit in there. So you're going to pull that tight. Now come across and make a stitch because we don't want this to bust open. Pull back and forth. That tightens that little knot. So you'll notice if you used a cotton ball that your head is quite squishy and very pliable. Let's set this aside for a second. We are going to sew these guys together. So get a little piece of yarn. We're going to make a slip knot on one end. And we're going to thread the needle with the other end. So you want the jackets and the wings, you kind of want that to be at the all together at the bottom. So let me show you how to fold this again. So that's the front, that's the back. You can decide however you want. It doesn't really matter either way. They both look exactly the same, just about. I'm going to have my back facing me. So fold this over. Fold your top over, which it's already trying to do. Then bring in this side. And then bring in this side. Just like that. Don't take sewing lessons from me. I suck. So get your wings where you want your wings. I'm going to come up through the back. I'm going to stay in the white. I'm going to go back down just right next to it because I want to hit this. I want to go through this loop. So this slip knot that I made, I'm going back through it just so I can pull everything to keep it in place. I am going to now tie a knot, really tight knot. I know it was a slip knot, but tying a knot anyway. So I'm gonna come back through. I'm gonna go into this arm, not into the purple, into the arm. And go back down through the arm and out the back. So that'll keep that into place, in place. Just like that. So you can go a couple times if you want. Up through. Just trying to secure the wings so they don't really move around. So that's my jacket and my wings. So we just have to attach the head. So I came up through the back. And then as far as something to hang it with, I just took a spare piece and I just went through the top of the head like that, pulled that through, and then I just tied a knot. Cut a little bit of that off, so I got a little hanger. So there we have it. Now you can draw a little face on there if you want, or do whatever you do. There, I've got all these different colored ones. Thanks for joining me, guys. I'll see you in the next video.